Hey guys, in this video we will discuss about the erythropoiesis. So, what are the various sites where erythropoiesis is happening in the lifespan of a human being? So, from 3 weeks to 3 months, there is erythropoiesis in yolk sac, in the yolk sac. 3 weeks to 3 months of intrauterine life in the IUL. Okay, from 3 months to 5 months of IUL, the erythropoiesis is happening in liver and spleen, and from 6 months to 20 years of age, the erythropoiesis is happening in red bone marrow of long bones and flat bones, in the long bones and the flat bones. Okay, after 20 years of age, the erythropoiesis is happening in only red bone marrow of flat bones, in the flat bones only. Okay, so these are the sites for erythropoiesis. After it, we have to see the various stages in the development of RBC. So we start with the pluripotent hematopoietic stem cells. So PHSC, the short form is PSSC. These PHSC, they can produce RBCs, WBCs, platelets, all type of blood cells. But when there is hypoxia, so there is a factor called HIF, hypoxia inducible factor. It's a kind of transcription factor. It is secreted, and under the influence of HIF, PHSC, they convert into CFUs, like colony forming unit erythrocytes. So they are converted into CFUE. Okay, these CFUE, they are first committed cell to the RBC. CFUE, they can only form RBCs, they cannot form any other blood cells. Okay, and the erythropoietin, it will act on the CFU cells. Okay, it will act on the CFU cells. And the next stage is proerythroblast. You can see the image as well. So this is the proerythroblast. You can see that nucleus is very large and there is scanty cytoplasm. Okay, after proerythroblast, we have another stage that is called as early normoblast. And this is basophilic in nature. It is stained by basophilic dye, so it is also called as basophilic early erythroblast. Okay, so the next stage is intermediate normoblast, and it is also called as polychromatophil erythroblast. Why? Because it can be stained by acidic or basic dye. So it is called as polychromatophilic erythroblast. Okay, next stage is late normoblast. It is also called as orthochromatic erythroblast. After the late normoblast, we have a stage called reticulocyte. And reticulocyte, why is it called as reticulocyte? Because it has reticular structures that are seen in the cell, so it is called as reticulocyte. And what is the percentage of reticulocytes? So in the total RBC count, there is 0.5 to 1% of reticulocytes of total RBC in the circulation. Okay, after reticulocyte, there is final RBC or erythrocytes. Okay, so now we have to look at various features of these stages. So let's have a look at the size. Actually, when we go from the proerythroblast to erythrocyte, size in this direction, it will decrease. The size of the cell decrease when we go from proerythroblast to RBC or the erythrocyte. Okay, now what about the nucleus? So the nucleus gradually decreases. The size of nucleus gradually decreases, but it is absent in reticulocyte stage. So nucleus is absent in reticulocyte stage. Okay, it is absent in erythrocyte or RBC stage as well. So there is decrease in size of nucleus till late normoblast, but it is absent in reticulocyte. Okay, after this, hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is absent in first two stages, in proerythroblast and early normoblast. Hemoglobin is absent, but it starts appearing in intermediate normoblast. Then it increases in amount in late normoblast. So amount of hemoglobin is increased in late normoblast, and in the reticulocyte stage it attains the mature level of hemoglobin. So mature level of hemoglobin is attained in reticulocyte stage. Okay, what about the mitosis? So in first three stages, from proerythroblast, early normoblast or intermediate normoblast, mitosis is present. But from the late normoblast to reticulocyte and the RBC, mitosis is absent. Okay. Now let's have a look at the regulation part. So in the regulation, hypoxia is the most important factor. So when there is hypoxia, hypoxia is decrease in O2 supply. Decrease in O2 supply is hypoxia. So when there is hypoxia, there is secretion of erythropoietic factor. From the kidney, and this will make erythropoietin, and this erythropoietin, it will go to the bone marrow. And it will promote the RBC production. It will promote the erythropoiesis. We have seen that the erythropoietin, it will act on the CFU and they will start differentiating and they will produce RBCs. Okay, there are many factors that are involved in the process of erythropoiesis. So we have categorized these factors into three categories: general, maturation, hemoglobin production. So general factors are like erythropoietin itself, EPO, some hormones, they are also helping in the erythropoiesis. These are androgens, growth hormone, TSH, T3, etc. So these are the hormones that are helping in the erythropoiesis process. And there is also role of interleukin 3. And vitamin B12. Okay, now in the maturation part, there are two factors that are very important, and these are vitamin B12 and folic acid. And for the hemoglobin production, we need iron, copper and vitamin C. Okay, so these are the factors that are involved in the erythropoiesis. Okay, we will discuss the vitamin B12 part in detail. So let's have a look at it. The vitamin B12, it is also known as methylcobalamin. And methylcobalamin, it has cobalt in the name. So cobalt is a part of methylcobalamin. So cobalt metal, it is part of methylcobalamin. RDA for the methylcobalamin or B12 is 1 to 2 microgram per day. Okay, now let's have a look at the absorption part. So when vitamin B12 is ingested, it goes into the stomach, and in the stomach we have one more factor that is called as intrinsic factor. In this intrinsic factor, it is produced by gastric mucosa. Vitamin B12 bind with the intrinsic factor. And now this complex, it gets absorbed. And what is the site? It gets absorbed in the terminal ileum. Okay, now the vitamin B12, it is necessary for the DNA synthesis. Into the RBC production and the maturation part of the RBC. So if there is deficiency of vitamin B12 and folic acid, so due to deficiency of vitamin B12 and folic acid, there will be production of immature RBC. These immature RBCs, they are large in size, and they are also nucleated. And these cells that are large in size and nucleated, these cells are called as megaloblast. And the condition is called as megaloblastic anemia. So to treat this condition, we need to supplement folic acid and B12 to the patient. And one more thing, if there is deficiency of vitamin B12, there will be some kind of neurological symptoms as well, because vitamin B12, it is also necessary in the neurological function, okay. So that's all about the erythropoiesis. Thank you.